an interesting thing. If you're able to generate it properly and you don't wobble, you will feel stable. You will feel abundant. You'll feel that your life is opened up like a rose and is worth living. And that is recovery. Being right across this line is recovery. Okay? Another thing that's about recovery is disputing the shaming process. And that's a long journey. What that means is if somebody has shamed you as a kid and you've taken in the idea that you're worthless in some way, carry this horrible energy that makes you feel worthless and are subject to having shame attacks. Part of the discipline of getting out of that is learning how to dispute the shaming process, learning how to dispute the shame attack, or understand that the shame attack is a lie. You are not worthless. It's about what somebody else being shameless and treating you as though you were worthless. It isn't a fact. Learning how to dispute that internally and relieving yourself of the carried energy is part of recovery, and part of recovering a sense of value that you were given when you were created. Another thing that's about recovery and getting to the point where you can really value yourself is learning that making mistakes, big or small, are part of life, and indeed how we learn. A lot of recovery around your self-esteem issues is beginning to understand that the mistake is not the problem. The problem would be, over the issue of whether we learned from our mistake or not. Mistakes are normal. Mistakes are part of the learning curve. That we're actually making mistakes means that we're learning and progressing. Having that attitude on board and being willing to make mistakes and not attaching our value to making mistakes is part of the recovering this sense of sanity. Also, another thing that has to be done in regards to learning how to stabilize your sense of value or self-esteem is learning to handle criticism functionally. Matthew McKay kind of defines this really good in his book. You can tell I really like his book. But anyway, he talks about functional criticism, and basically what he says is that when you're getting criticized, understand that somebody's just telling you that they're making themselves miserable about something about you. Now, functional criticism is criticism where they make a statement about what's bothering them, and then they give you the data around it that supports what they've said. That's functional criticism. And that you want to pay attention to, because what they're saying is, hey, I'm having this experience of you in the universe, and what they're telling you is how they experience you, which is really more about them than it is about you, but it's a way that they're being intimate, connecting, asking you for help so they can be more comfortable. And you have an opportunity to adjust yourself, not make yourself feel worthless. So you have to listen to whether what somebody's saying to you is functional or not. Functional means that they've given you the data so that you can decide whether it's true or not. Dysfunctional criticism is criticism given to you where people are just making general statements and they cannot back it up with any specifics. In my life, when I'm getting that kind of thing, and I hear that they're not giving me anything so they understand how they arrived at that, I know it's dysfunctional. So I'll say, hey, can you give me the data around that? When they say no, but you're always doing it, I say, well, when the data comes up, tells me, and I ignore it until I get the data. That's part of protecting my sense of value. Another part of protecting my sense of value is paying attention to my offensive behavior and correcting it, giving myself permission to be me, but also not to be out in that universe in a way that truly violates other people's boundaries. And in that, when I haven't been a boundary violator, having the willingness to adapt myself to someone else in the interest of their comfort, in the interest of the relationship, without betraying myself too much. Probably, in summarizing this whole presentation to you, I'll say I think of the old spiritual principle, to thine own self be true. It is most important in your life to be real, to be yourself, and understand that that has inherent worth. But you can't be offensive. You cannot be a boundary violator. In that instant, one has to pull it all in, make amends, and stop doing the behavior.